Start getting funky, people. Start getting funky with the music. Start getting silly. We already got people in the community are already lining up to come in. People in the community are already lining up to come in. So make sure you hit the like, hit the subscribe, get funky with the music. That's it. That's it. God is great. Leah says, hi, Amish. Loving kindness. Yes, yes, thank you. Digital Marketing Human says, let's get funky, people. Get funky, get funky. I left my drink downstairs. It's just I had a little coffee downstairs, but we got an incredible service. We got an incredible service for the community today. Andre Thomas says, hello, Amish. Hello, Andre Thomas. Thanks for coming. Today we have, first of all, on the channel in general, and tell me how the audio mixes right now. Digital Marketing Human says, you are the universe. Correct. Yes. And so are you. I honor you. And I am you and you are me. And we are both animated by the same, of course. No, this is the loving kindness energy that animates all of us. And thank you for coming in. And I know some people are like, yo, fuck that, dude. It's like, hey, just cool it. This is a church of loving kindness. And one day you'll understand. You know what I'm saying? If the vibration is too low, you might not get it. But one day you'll understand loving kindness is the highest teaching of the Buddha. And anyway, right now, like I said, got a very interesting guest coming in. Very funny guy. I think you're going to enjoy him, especially as you go into this summer of love. We're going to need these teachings in the community, people. We're going to need his teachings in the community. So we got a very powerful guest coming in, men's dating coach, Austen Summers. You're going to love him. 5 o'clock, I'm going live with Duke and Dawn as well. I don't know if Duke and Dawn is actually just prepping the topics, or not topics. They're just making a thumbnail right now. And like I said, 6 p.m. maybe on their channel, we're going to do a little joint congregation. So today's Friday, May 6th. We're doing 2 joint congregations. And as always, I will bring it back to a place of loving kindness and unconditional. Like I said, unconditional loving kindness is beautiful. It's the most powerful teaching. But let me just go get my coffee. And in the meantime, get funky with that music. That's the kind of vibe we want to carry for the episode. And I'm going to put up the, yes, we are. Correct. I'll be right back. Thanks, everyone. You are loved. And God is great. Correct, Tanner. Austen Summers Woot is the correct attitude to have. He will be with us shortly. I did want to talk to you all about, I went out yesterday, had a little taste of the nightlife again. Very exciting, very silly night. I actually did a stand-up comedy show. So y'all remember Demi from the Brock, who was on the show last week? I know. Demi from the Block. Y'all remember was on the show last week. Did her show. Turns out it was a ripper. You know what? Let's watch the Instagram stories. Let's watch the Instagram stories because it was quite the ripper. And I really got to do more Instagram stories. You know what I mean? And it should all be integrated. It's like we're all here to just spread this loving kindness. So it's like, why have these separate worlds? Anyway, yeah, that's me at backstage being silly. That's the only pose I could think of. I don't know, whatever. Then this is my friend Hisham Khaledi. He's going to do the show soon too. So funny. And this is how he dressed up for the show. What a silly guy. And he smiles like that too. And he is a jovial guy. And I put anyone need a blood diamond. I know a guy, Hisham Kaladi. What a great, and he did repost it, by the way. If any of you think, oh, no, this is rude, just cool it. He's my friend. I reposted it. And then Alan Shane and I went to do karaoke. That was great. Fiona O'Brien, great comic. And then these were two more comics that were on the show. And like I said, Hisham was on the show. Incredible. And it was so good to go out and do karaoke. And make sure you follow my Instagram at Fade to Brown. God is great. And it's so good to do karaoke yesterday because it reminded me actually this guy that I knew, Digital Marketing Humans, $5. Thanks, baby. Sending out love. Let's start this drip podcast with always giving back to the community. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Amish. Thank you, Digital Marketing Humans. People in the hustle know the hustle. You know what I'm saying? So I get it, man. And today I'm going to, speaking of people in the grind, people on the hustle, not on the grind, on the joyful joy of bringing these live streams to the public, to the community. I'm doing Duke and Dawn at 5. We're going to talk about Kevin Samuels passing away, emergency broadcast today. And our guest, Austen Summers, is in the waiting room. So real quick, actually, before I bring him on, I just want to tell you guys, Austen Summers is someone that I've been learning from for many years. His teachings are extremely powerful in being more charming, more effective with girls. You could say that he's helping guys get radical consent. If I was like his social justice defendant in court, I'd say, Your Honor, he's helping guys get radical consent. They're begging for dick after my client's teachings. So how can we, but I remember for a long time as a comedian, it was like taboo. And I remember like people would bring up like a pickup artist thing and I'd be like, pickup, what is that? What is that? That's not allowed. And I'd try to go over, like people be like, they should be canceled. I'm like, they should be killed. What the hell are they doing? Negging? What's that? That's manipulation. Kill that. I was crazy. But then at night, I'd get lonely. And then I'd go crawling back to the pickup Gurujis. I'd say, please, Babaji, nobody wants to have sex with me, Babaji. Teach me the techniques. And so I saw that disparity in my heart. And I said, this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. You're getting the techniques and you're going to go talk shit. It's no more. So I want to bring, and also hilarious. Actually, I just went through one of his last videos. He reviews 10 Hollywood scenes for their pickup techniques. And even as he's reviewing them, you watch it and you're like, who's the sinner here? It's Hollywood. Hollywood is the sinner. And we're going to go through one of those clips of his as well. So like I said, give it up and make some noise for my boy, Austen Summers. Hilarious guy. Charming with the ladies. What's up, baby? Thanks for coming.
Yo, what's up?
Dude, appreciate it.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay, cool.
Probably some of the most professional sound we've gotten so far. You know what I'm saying?
Nice. Cool.
Yeah,
I literally set this up 30 seconds ago. So.
Wow, dude. Welcome to the game, dude. It's like all about live. I mean, not live streaming, but it is all about making content right now. You've been in the game for years. You have like almost 30,000 subs yourself. Mm-hmm. How has it been on YouTube, and how has it been being in your field, the pickup artist field, and being on YouTube? Or are you more men's dating coach now? Like, have you switched or?
Yeah, so it's kind of funny because I've been doing YouTube since like 2014. So back in the day, it was like something kind of special, but now it feels like everyone's doing TikTok or Instagram or whatever. So, and I used to like commute from my bed to my desk, and it used to be like a novel thing. People like, wow, like you just work from home? That's kind of cool. And now it's like everyone works from home. So my job has become like just normal. I was just like, I don't know, 8 years ahead of the trends, I guess.
Wow, dude. Ahead of the game, man. Beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know. I just say what I do is I just get guys results with girls. So I teach them self-development stuff. I teach them mindset. I teach them how to improve their aesthetics and their health. I teach them how to float in outer space like you.
Right. Yeah, sick. Yeah, in the loving kindness that is this life.
Yes.
I'm just pulling up one of your clips. Oh, you put the timestamps in yourself. Honestly, I was looking at the video today and I didn't see the timestamp. So I actually went in and I was like, let me put the timestamps for Babaji. I put the timestamps over here.
My God.
You're on it. You already have it. I feel like such an idiot right now. I feel like I was like, I'll show him and he'll say, good. You did the time codes, but you already have them. That's so silly. Sick.
Thank you.
No, this is a great clip. And actually one of the best clips. Let's watch this one, because I've seen so many old Hollywood clips where you're like reviewing it, and I feel like this is like a pretty honest reaction where you're like reviewing it and you're like, Hey, I'm the monster. Let's check it out.
Oh, so by the way, let me give context for the chains. I wore like a chain in my in like one video where I broke down Hank Moody, and I was like, damn, this guy's pretty cringe. And then the top comment was, the only thing cringe in this video is your chain.
Oh shit!
Because I was like leaning in, so it looked like cartoonishly big, I guess. So the next video, I had my girlfriend go make like 10 chains, and I would just put them on each time, but like not even talk about it.
Oh, sick.
And
sick.
yeah, so at the end of the video, I go, thanks for watching, Chain Gang. So,
Chain gang, yeah, exactly. No, that's actually the best way to handle a roaster. You got to lean into it, and it is one of the.
I like what you said. You're like, don't cancel pickup artists. We need to kill them.
Dude, people are like that. People are crazy. But then at night, I did get the tips. Yeah, let's check it out.
Very bad game. James Bond, Goldfinger.
I like the music and everything. It's very gentlemanly, smooth.
I'm not interested. Let's go.
What would it take for you to see things my way?
A lot more than you've got.
How do you know?
I don't want to know.
This classic Sean Connery, dude. I think he was like this in life too. People are saying after that he was kind of like this, but we don't know. I don't know.
Whoa. Okay, I want to first break down the. He's very unreactive to what she's saying. Now, I don't think anyone in human history has had a good experience ripping a girl around like that. That was very silly. But any objection she gives, he's just like, it's bouncing off of him almost. She's like,
she is hot though. Hey, what a smoker.
classic pickup. Just throw a girl like 30 yards away.
Just throw her classic pickup, dude.
That's the techniques, bro.
That's the techniques, dude. Duke and Don are here. Yo, we're doing Duke. I'm doing Duke and Don. We're doing a good joint congregation at 5. So check it out. We're going to talk about Kevin Samuels probably.
Now let's both play.
Okay, if a girl pushes you away like that, don't keep escalating on her physically. Give her some space.
That's great. Great advice, dude.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to find good examples in Hollywood, but some of those you saw, they're pretty good, right? The elevator
Some of them are good.
Departed. Yeah.
Yeah. I always thought Hank Moody was slick. Like I always thought he was slick. You thought he was corny? You thought he was like trying too hard or something? Hank Moody?
Well, I guess it depends on the scene. I haven't seen a good scene yet. I've seen like 3 scenes of him. So
it is like a weird superhero thing. Like it's almost like made for women a little bit. The Californication. It's good. I actually know a lot of guys who watch it too, but I think a lot of girls watch it and they like that. They kind of like make him so smooth and charming, and there's always like the perfect line kind of thing.
Yeah. Yo, sorry if I look a little sleepy. I woke up like 2:20. Been
Oh, baby,
hustling.
you look great. It's fine.
We're getting our place taken care of. We
dude.
got tons of packages and stuff.
What is this your commune? Is this your spot? Is this your
Yeah, so like we're doing the sex cult thing. I know it's a bit overplayed, but we want to do yeah, actually, dude, I just ordered a cold plunge. I ordered like a $5,000 cold plunge for the backyard.
legit? That's right.
Eventually we'll get a sauna here. It'll probably be like some custom built sauna, or I may build it myself. It's not that hard to make a sauna. It's just like wood planks and insulation, and yeah, I just want to make this like the best house possible.
And you're doing this full time.
Yeah, well, I also got a giant Jenga. I got giant Connect 4.
Wow.
We're gonna get like foosball tables, or I don't know, maybe ping pong or something.
That's so sick, dude.
But yeah, what am I doing full time? Yeah, I do dating coaching full time. So I have 3 things. One's an in-person program. So it's like a week-long course where guys fly out, they stay with me. I coach them in person. We analyze their footage of how they interact with people. I listen in. So I put like AirPods in their ear and I listen in to them going and approaching, and I give them feedback in the moment of like, all right, start, walking with her, ask for the number.
Wow, dude.
Now's when you should leave. Like, So I throw in all those things. It's actually kind of cool. In Barcelona, I was on a balcony and I just had my students go and approach girls like in front of the balcony because there were so many girls in this like area. So yeah, you can kind of like see it kind of is like it's almost like a video game in a way. That's the funnest part of my coaching is when I like mic people up and I can listen in.
Yeah, because then you got that full control mode. You're like, do it now.
Yeah, and it's like I'm playing a cartoon, or it's like I'm playing a video game pretty much. I'm like,
tell her she's beautiful. Do it now.
Yeah. Do it now.
Do it now. Yeah, that's sick, dude. How's so you're doing it out? You're not in Barcelona anymore though. You had to move?
Yeah, I'm in Florida.
Oh, dude, Florida's so sexy right now.
Yeah, Florida's awesome. It sucks that everyone's moving here from other states, but I don't know. It's kind of good in a way.
Isn't it more the better? I feel like
but it's just
the better attitude.
Not for housing prices. The more is not better for housing prices.
Oh, true.
As you probably know for Toronto, right?
Yeah. No, Toronto's a mess with housing, dude. It's such a scam. I feel like. I mean, it's not, I don't want to say scam, but it is dumb. It's like it just turns into a rat race when everyone starts showing up. But dude, that's
it's a bad deal.
Yo, have you talked to those guys? Those other two, those Fresh and Fit. Have you talked to those guys?
Yeah, actually. So I knew Fresh before they even started that thing.
Right. Oh, sick.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate because when he asked me to collab with him, he had like a channel where he did gold digging pranks and stuff like this, and I was just I was not about that. But I don't think he understood that like in my industry, if I were to do that, people would just look at me like I'm a clown.
Fresh Prince CEO, right? You're talking about Fresh Prince CEO?
Yeah.
His videos are very funny, and it almost feels like the other guy's taking advantage of him. Like he is like. It is kind of cringy though, and it's almost like
what you're talking about is the Fresh and Fit podcast, which I think is a cool show. And anyone that disagrees, it's like the numbers speak for themselves. You don't get to that level of fame without something working. Right?
What do you think of Kevin Samuels? May he rest in peace. He passed away.
Oh yeah. So I think Kevin Samuels is one of the most articulate, smart speakers on male-female dynamics in this whole space. And he was blunt and he didn't sugarcoat anything. And he actually woke up a lot of women and he woke up a lot of men as well. For those who don't know him, he was like a style image consultant, but he kind of like fell into this commentary on modern dating and modern life. Right. And women would come on a show.
Dude,
and
they get ripped on his show.
They'd be like 340 pounds. They're like, I need a high value man. Why can't I get a high value man? And he's like, listen, sweetie, you weigh more than like a linebacker, like a football like lineman. So like why? Yeah, right. Dude, go to sort by most popular. Oh, you got it.
Yeah.
Tell me. Oh yeah, see that one is like you're average at best.
I know. No, that's the hot one. That's the big one. But then Austin, like if I could push back on you here, the thing I love about your channel is that you are very positive. You know, one of my favorite videos of yours that you did was you're talking about being self-amused, and it's actually it is like a loving kindness meditation. I teach loving kindness actually now, and what you were saying in the video that like let something genuine come from your heart and express it and like, you know, be in the moment with someone and be real, whatever. And part of it was like having the self-worth to say, hey, whatever I am today, this is who I am. I'm going to go out and I'm going to have a good time still. I'm not going to feel like shit. Don't you feel like Kevin Samuels was kind of like telling people like, you're done. You're never going to make it. So
that's a great question. So in my opinion, what he shows is it's just the objective, harsh reality of the world, which most people, they often like to go through their whole lives like ignoring.
Yeah.
So what my thought is, once you understand kind of red pill stuff, or once you understand reality, you don't have to keep brewing on it every single day like it's some like dark religion. You can literally learn the lessons from it and then go and live your life. And then, do what you teach, do what I teach, and have a positive attitude toward life. But always in the back of your mind, you know what the reality is.
Yeah. And you know,
I'll be specific too, because when we talk about this stuff, it's so vague. For example, if you're 250 pounds, realize that millions of people have become fit after weighing 250 pounds. So that's something you can control. So fix your aesthetics, and being fat isn't just like an aesthetic thing. It also impacts your hormones. So if you have more fat, it actually creates aromatase, which is like an antagonist to testosterone.
Fuck.
So yeah, if you're not between like 10 and 20% body fat, your hormones are getting fucked. So if you're
So
too
you're saying
skinny,
if I get overweight, then my body's sending out pheromones like, don't fuck this guy.
pretty much, and it impacts your face and your voice and your attitude and your behavior and how you carry yourself and your
Yeah.
libido and everything. Yeah.
Haven't you met a lot of people though? Like some of the guys that I know get laid the most though are but I guess that is like outlier, but they are just, I feel like the confidence does everything for guys. Like, is your advice even to men and women? Like, are you saying like, if you're a woman, you got to lose the weight? If you're a guy, people fuck. Like, I feel like if
it's more important for women to lose weight than it is for men. Because women, they're dating market value. This isn't me saying this. This is like just the objective reality.
Rest in peace.
It's based on.
Put it on Kevin Samuels. Rest in peace.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Just put it, rest in peace. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
But yeah. All right. I didn't say this. Kevin Samuels said this.
Yeah.
Too soon. But yeah, women. What do men want from women? Youth, beauty, low body count. Obviously, there's like how you can connect with them. Do they do similar things? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But the main things, like if a girl is overweight, she's like 47 and she is, she slept with 400 guys. She has lower market value to the vast majority of guys than a girl that's 25, fit and, slept with 2 guys. Right.
That's interesting. I didn't think you'd care about that. Like the body count, eh? Because I feel I just saw a clip of this other guy, this poor man's podcast, and he was talking about he had this girl on, or he was just reacting to a clip, and this girl was saying that this female activist, she had sex with like 800 guys in a day just to prove the point that like doesn't matter if you bang 800 guys in a day, the vagina, it doesn't get looser. Whether it's one guy 800 times or it's 800 guys in one day, the vagina looseness is consistent. So do not think. And I was like,
yeah, but of those 800 guys, some of them are well hung, right?
Some of them, yeah, like okay, fine. You're
some of them are slinging some dong.
Yeah. But because I feel like this is a big thing I'd have to talk to guys in India about, where they'd come and they'd be like, but Amish, she's had sex with you and then she's gonna, and I'm like, yeah, she can still survive. Like I would tell guys from India that like a girl broke up with me and they'd be like, but how can it be? Now whole society will say she is whatever, you know what I mean? And it's like, they seem to do fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think there's definitely like, if a girl slept with like 10, 15, I don't know. For me, that's not like a huge deal.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
I will definitely like, I'll bang. I don't care if a girl's bang like 50 guys. I'll still bang her. Right. But the girl that I want to marry or the girl I want to be in a really long-term relationship with, I don't want to be in a relationship with a girl who has, like a very high dopamine mind where she's always seeking new things and new thrills. And I don't want to be with a girl that's low conscientiousness. So there's like the big 5 personality traits. And if the 2 that will dictate whether a girl cheats mostly are high openness to experience. She wants to try new things, aka new dicks. And then she has low conscientiousness, so she doesn't care if she hurts your feelings.
Interesting. And actually, get into the science of this. I think we're going to talk about this more even tonight at 5 with Duke and Don, because they talk about this a lot more than I do. But that's interesting. You're the first person that broke it down to some kind of like a scientific thing, I guess, because like it always just seemed like kind of an irrational fear that like, oh, she fucked all these guys. And I know guys that I'm like, bro, just do it. You might like her. You might have fun with her. It'll be good. And like whatever, she fucked 5. But those are under 15 people. Like it is girls that like, okay, she had 2 boyfriends and now she's dating you. Like, what's the big deal?
So the actual science says like after, man, it's actually pretty low. It's like 3 or 4 partners that a woman has, her ability to pair bond is like severely impaired.
What? This is scientific? How do they?
Yeah. Should I pull it up?
Wild, dude. Yeah. We can check it out.
2 women's partners.
Damn, dude! Here at the Church of Loving Kindness, we let people on and just tell us.
It actually works on this gene. It's called Delta Phos B gene, I think.
Wouldn't a girl not want to be with a guy? Wouldn't a girl not want to be with a guy that has a high dopamine addiction with constantly wanting new girls and new sex? James.
Yeah. So I kind of agree with that. Like women don't want to. Yeah. Because that's kind of a risky thing for them as well. However, the only guys that can have a high body count, not the only, but the vast majority, who's fucking all the girls? Like 5% of guys. Wow. Right? So if you're one of the 5% of guys that are fucking a lot of girls, what does that mean? That means when you come to a new girl, you have the confidence, you have the swagger, you assume that things are going to go well.
Yeah.
You know how to talk to girls, you know how to push their buttons, you know how to make them feel comfortable. And then beyond that, it suggests that you're high value, right? Because everything comes down to this pyramid. Basically, 95% of guys are at the bottom of this pyramid. Then there's all women, and then there's 5% of guys at the top. So basically, that means that 95% of guys are supplicating and trying to get girls because they are quote unquote above them on that dominance hierarchy. And then there's the 5% of guys that girls compete for. Now, it doesn't mean that you just sit back and girls come to you, right? Obviously, there is still the biological imperative that women have eggs and men have sperm. So you have to go and like initiate, right? Women are bad at initiating. So, but it means that if you're coming from that place of being the top 5%, you do things completely differently. You're coming from the frame of qualifying the girl, right? Oh, what qualities do you have? One thing I bring up with girls, I have a girlfriend criteria list, and it has like all these different criteria in it. And when girls see that, their minds go like, what? And they get so curious, they want to like see it. I recommend everyone like
make
go
a
into
list.
it.
Make a list.
So yeah,
like,
I'll actually
sorry,
do like this.
You're not crossing off my list. That's
If I notice the conversation's going really well and she says something that I like resonates with me or that's on the list, I'll go, wait, hold on a sec. All right, how old are you? Okay, spin real quick. And then I'll be like, and then I'll like go on the next thing.
Yeah, you're like. Do
you meditate?
You're like ass is tight. Check. Hold on, can you turn around? Oh, that's a good booty. Check. Continue.
And then they get really curious and they want to check out the list.
Yeah.
Let's see. Are women? Oh wait, is this what we're talking about? Yeah, the genetics. Yeah, so women, they want the full package. So there's no such thing as a man that's attractive in one area, right? Just because the guy's famous doesn't mean that he's quote unquote just completely attractive. Fame is usually packaged with material success, so you can provide resources, and it's usually packaged with social kind of like hierarchy, like you're higher up on the hierarchy, so you have good social connections.
Amazing.
Yeah, but for looks, looks are important, and I think you can improve your looks by like maybe 1 or 2 points, but past that point, yeah, gotta let it go. Yeah, some girls care more about looks, like if they're model chicks, and some girls care less about looks. So
yeah, for sure. Yo, but tell me this then, because you were saying that you're a big fan of the Fresh and Fit boys. What do you think of their Instagram class? Have you checked it out, or do you recommend it? Because I know I've seen this almost not fighting within the stand-up, the pickup community, pickup artist community. There's almost like a beef that like he's doing direct day game. Foolish. You have to do social circle game. Like there's like different types of things, and some people like you got to do online. You, I feel like, have a more like you're direct. You're on the street. You holler at these girls on the street, which respect it. It's incredible. But what do you think about Instagram? Like, what do you think of them selling this class, this Instagram class for $2,000?
Well, 2,000 is definitely too much for an online course, especially if it's niche like that. That's the problem with all these courses. They're like, here, I'm going to give you 6% of what you need to get results with girls. Here you go. And then you're like, okay, well, what about the other 94%? What about my aesthetics? What about, approaching? What about X, Y, and Z? So yeah, I don't get the point of these courses. They're like, here, I'm going to teach you only day game. It's like, okay, so what if I go out at night? What if I have, I'm going online? What if I'm traveling to a new country and I can't open girls in person and I want to talk to the English speaking girls? So anyway,
you do a complete game. You're a full spectrum game guy.
Full spectrum. just like CBD, like full spectrum CBD. I do full spectrum coaching.
Full spectrum pussy.
I never understood why are you giving people 5%? Like one of my good friends, and I will say he has pretty decent game himself. He does harems and stuff. But like his courses, he'll be like the one of his courses is like the digital pickup, and it's like he doesn't even teach how to message in that. And I'm like, and he's like, yeah, messaging, that's whatever. Photos, everyone talks about it. What I'm going to show you is kind of like how to hack Tinder. It's like, okay, well, what about messaging? What about setting up dates? Like, I don't know, man. I just
what's the hacking?
I never understood why are you giving people 3 to 5% of what they need? Why don't you give them 100% of what they need to make the transformation? So that's my course, is game transformation. It's all about taking people from A to Z, basically.
Right.
And it only gives you what you need at a certain point. But anyway, I'll talk about Instagram.
Yeah, dude. But no. Tell me the Tinder hacking class, because no, I was saying before you came on that like there's been many a night where I'm just feeling so lonely, Austin. I feel so lonely, and I say, teach me, Guruji. What's the techniques? What's the class? I've been in there. I've been like, do I get the DMs on demand class years ago? But still, you know what I mean? It is like something that happens, and it's like I feel like you're more of like in person, come in and they like you walk them through it kind of thing. So it's like more.
I do everything. So
yeah.
For example, you said DMs on demand. I didn't know that was the name of the course, but that makes sense. So the way to actually get DMs on demand is you pay for an ad on Instagram. So I teach that in my course. Basically, it doesn't really work that much in the US, but for traveling, like if you put let's say you go to Mexico or Colombia or Brazil or whatever, you put an ad, you pay $5-10. Dude, you have my course, so just go through it.
This is amazing because here's the thing. This is the shit that comedians should be doing. You know, there's so much stuff that you guys do that I'm like, this is what the comedians should be doing. This is incredible. It kind of like Trump too, where he's like so funny and he does some like wild shit, and you're like, the comedians don't do this anymore. We're like, you know.
Yeah. So let me break things down a little bit more, because people think, like you said, just do Social Circle, just do day game, just do Instagram. So
I've seen some of your haters. They come in, not like your. I don't think they say your name. I saw AG Hayden actually had a great clip where I don't know if you know that guy, but he just plays other people. And then I was telling you John Anthony Lifestyle. We've had him on the show before. John Anthony Lifestyle. Shocking. When I had Steven on the show too. So Steven was on you know CopyZilla? Are you familiar with him? He like calls out scams.
Yeah.
He just hit 1 million subs, right? So we started with him. We had John Anthony Lifestyle on the show. And John Anthony Lifestyle is putting up these videos where he's like, he just shows a pickup artist. He's like, this is his wedding photos of this pickup artist. His wife is a 6. He's not a pickup artist. He's a nothing. And he just like does these rips. And we had him on the show, and then he was like, well, you know, like this is the culture. You gotta compete. You gotta have the hot hitters there, or it doesn't count or whatever. And shockingly, we like just kind of let him. We were like, whatever. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like,
so here, let me break this down, because I want to put this into perspective for the listeners. So basically, most guys, they're in that 95% that's at the bottom, right?
Wow.
Now, a lot of people are like, well, just do Social Circle, which is like a top 5% thing. Just, be well connected with the elites of your city. It's like, that's a top 5% thing. So if you're scared to talk to people, you give no value, you can't sexualize conversations with girls, you're not going to get laid. You don't know how to strategize. You don't know how to bring girls home or set up dates. And you haven't made this a natural part of who you are. How the fuck do you expect yourself to, do Social Circle? So the thing is, you want to kind of learn how to hunt in terms of like going out and meeting girls in person, because that allows you to develop the fastest. Okay. And then once you go through that transformation, then you can learn how to farm. So you can basically do things more strategically. You can have harems where you pay for introductions to girls. You can have, you can do the Instagram ads. You can have the Instagram that's really baller, has epic photos, shows you meeting and, hobnobbing with the top of society. Or you can use like more advanced stuff. But most guys, and when I say most, I mean like 95 to 98% of guys, they're not there. Right. So you need to go through that transformation before you reach that point. Because if a girl meets you just on Instagram and then she meets you in real life and you're not a cool guy, even though you portrayed yourself to be, then she just feels like, oh, this guy just fucking fooled me into meeting up with him.
Yeah, then you really wasted your time. Then you feel like an idiot.
So this guy says paying for an ad is too much. So it's actually like it's $5 and it's strategic. So most people, there's two sides. Okay. Whoop. So balls. There's two sides. So one is so the enemy of the poor man is price, right? Oh, $5 to pay to meet like beautiful women in my city. That's too much. Okay. And then the other side is rich people. Rich people have the mindset of, I actually have the Education of Millionaires right here. But the rich people, what they do is the enemy of them is time, right? So if I can pay for an Instagram ad and I get, 50 to 100 DMs from an Instagram ad, And then I just sort through and find, the 5 or 10 girls that I like out of that, and then just continue messaging them. That's a better use of my time than going and direct messaging every girl myself. That's it, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like marketing, right? I can't scale up my in-person coaching infinitely, but I can scale up my online course infinitely.
And I also think that ads are based on like competition. So like, so if you're selling a business, it's probably super expensive to place an ad on Instagram. But if you're just like, no, this is just for my personal life, it's almost like the algorithm goes, well, no one's doing that, so just advertise, I guess.
Yeah, so I would say that cities where they have a lot of ad spend, Toronto, Miami, LA, London, like, because they're trying to get rich clients, that it's hard to make your ads do anything, to be honest. But if you go into places that are, poor and no one is fucking paying for ads, then you get a really good return on investment on the ad. So like instead of paying $5 and getting seen by like 100 people, maybe pay $5 and you get seen by like 10,000 people.
Right. You go to a small town. It is just like when COVID hit, like I set my location to a small town and I just got way more matches because they were like excited. They're like, oh, cool, this guy does shit. Whereas in Toronto, girls are kind of like, yeah, everyone's an artist here. We don't care. Maybe just more competition in general. I don't know. Do you find it's easier to go to small towns?
So I'll say this: second tier cities in a state or a province are going to be typically better for meeting girls. And the reason why is because men typically are more likely to move for work. So bigger cities are going to be more cockfesty in general, but also that's where the most rich, successful, powerful men congregate. Whereas if you go to a second tier city and you're just like, for example, where I live, I'm not going to bring up the name of where I live, but I drive around my Tesla. It's like 99% of the time, it's the nicest car wherever I am.
Wow.
If my game skill is like better than most guys here, right? They haven't had to game in, big cities. My style is better than most guys. So it's just like being a 9 or a 10 in a tier 2 city, you stand out. Being a 9 or a 10 in a tier 1 city, you're like the average guy.
What's that quote in the Bible? It's like, why be like, you could be the kingdom of like, why be there's always like, why be a small fish in a big pond where you could be a big fish in a small pond. But I guess so. You go to a small town and people are just like, yeah, this guy's cool as fuck.
Yeah, and it depends what you value, right? If you value like your dating life, it's good to move. If you value more like, let's say, just your friends in a city, then it's not really that you don't need to move, right? And you could like a winner gets laid out anywhere, right? I've been to San Francisco, which is most people consider the worst city in the world for dating.
Oh my god, it's awful. And I've been.
Yeah, and I banged 3 girls in a week. One was like a hot full stack engineer. She was like blonde, like hot, good body.
Instagram or in person?
So I met, I think two through day game, 1 through night game. Yeah, 2 through day game, 1 through night game. One was just a night game pool.
Yeah, what do you think of like Natasha Razor, one of the regular members of our congregation? And this, I hear this from a lot of girls or a lot of people in general, where they're like, "You don't need that. Just talk to them."
Yeah. So the reason why there's a bias called, what is the name of the bias? Basically, is a survivorship bias. She only sees, it's a selective focus. She only sees the guys that are confident enough to go approach her, right? She's only seeing the top 20% of guys.
Yeah.
The bottom 50% that doesn't even like approach or doesn't talk to girls at all, they're not coming up to her. So in girls' reality is like every guy's confident. And then also this is another reason why girls that are really hot girls, they always complain every guy cheats. It doesn't matter how great you are, they're always going to cheat. It's like because the guys that they want and the guys that they like have access to all the girls.
Right.
So it's like of course they're going to fucking cheat.
Like, no, dude, I know so many hot
and then
girls.
The guys that would be loyal, they don't want.
I know so many hot girls, and even every hot girl I've dated, I'm like, you're just a magnet for sociopaths. Because every nice guy is going to be like, oh, I wonder if she likes me. And then just some psycho is going to be like, yo, you want coke?
Yo, I have a hypothesis on this too.
19. Yeah.
This is why hot girls are more likely to be crazy. The hot crazy matrix. Once you go above like 8, 9, bordering on 10, it's just like Looney Town. Is because the only guys that are confident enough to approach them are narcissistic psychopaths,
dude,
right?
They believe. Up.
Yeah, they're like, I can get this girl. This girl. Like literally, dude. Some of my friends, God love them, but some of them are super narcissistic.
Right.
They'll be like, it is kind of a good mindset to internalize, but basically when they see a girl that girl was put there to meet them. Like when they go out at night and see a girl, they're not just like, oh, that's not for me, that's top shelf. They literally think, oh, finally, like that's that God put her there for me. I'm gonna save her from the bad guys. Like that's literally their mindset.
Well, this girl was just telling me, like, such a hot girl, and she's gonna do the podcast the next couple of weeks, but she doesn't want to talk about the story. But dude, the exes are like, you just got a proper psycho, just killing like 4 years of your life. Like she was saying that this guy was banging her and 3 other girls. And the girls had to start getting together and talking shit about him. Then he started playing them against each other. Then one of them turned on the girls and went back to the guy. Like, it's just been a mess. And I'm like, yo, you've been doing this for 2 years now. It's a lot. It's a lot of work, but they get you in their web and then you're gone, dude. Like, a lot of hot girls are like, they're done. And I was even asking a hot girl, like, it must be hard even growing up. Like, when you're 15, they're like, from 15, your uncles are hollering at you. And this girl goes, 15? Try 12. Since I was 12, it's like 1 in 4 girls is sexually like abused, and I feel like if it's my experience has been like if they're hot, it's like 4 in 4. Like they're all fucked up. Even my ex-girlfriend, so hot when she was 12, she's got into a car with a guy and he just drove him off. He just drove her off because she's too nice. And she's like, okay, I'll just get in the car, and he just drove her up. And then she had to go there and cry for him to be like, fine. Like he didn't have the heart to do anything, so he was like, fine. I'll drive you back.
Crazy, dude. Yeah. And I love the saying, the only thing creepier than learning game is not learning game. Because if you learn game, you can just approach women. You can do it honest, authentically, becomes part of who you are. And if you don't, you just stare and do weird shit like that.
Yeah, it's true. And, Natasha, I guess, is saying that she doesn't like guys with a lot of bodies. I mean, yeah, it could be a both ways thing. Like, would you? Okay. So the pair bonding thing you were saying about women, I
think that applies to men as well. But I think from my perspective, if you stop, like, if I'm in a flow where I'm banging, like, I don't want to say numbers, but let's say I'm banging quite a few girls each week. To get out of that, I have to like slowly like wean myself off, if that makes sense.
Right.
And then like even proactively say like I'm not sleeping with a girl on the first date.
Dude, the Jake the Snake Roberts documentary. Do you know Jake the Snake Roberts? He's like a wrestler in WWE.
Jake the Snake?
Jake the Snake.
The Jake the Snake, no.
He was like a wrestler, and he would come into the ring with snakes every time. Hold on, let me grab that clip. Actually, very funny guy. Very, very like silly character. And he was saying like years ago, I saw this documentary with him, and he was saying that like he'd go on the road. And just like too many women are banging him. And then he'd go home to his wife, and his wife would be like, he's like, I couldn't make love to my wife. I'm doing gangbangs on the road, baby. I can't do it anymore. And he just like, he was like so sad after. He was like, it ruined my marriage. It like fucked up like the one woman who really loved me. Like I just stopped talking to her because like I just couldn't get hard for my wife anymore. Because it's the gangbangs, This is Jake the Snake Roberts. This is like before your time, bro. Macho Man is here on the speaker here. Wow, dude, look how young everyone looks. But this is Jake the Snake Roberts. He would come in with a snake. He was wild, man. And the documentary about it was crazy. It ruined his life. Like the whole body count thing. I feel like it does get interpreted as like slut shaming, but
like that's just a defined abundance for them. Oh, I can like I like 2 girls and I have options, and yeah, it's nice. Yeah. And then I do think most people will be happiest when they just have a relationship, when they trust the person, they enjoy hanging out with them. Yeah.
I do.
But there's a cyclical nature of dating. So like you go deeper into like everyone says the same stuff. At the end of a relationship, they're like, oh man, I got to get out of this. How did I get sucked into a relationship again? And then they're single and they're like, I love being single. And then they meet a bunch of people. And then they're like, oh, being single is unfulfilling. I want a relationship. And then they find someone they like and they get deep in love. And it's just a cyclical thing. And that's how we are wired as human beings. You're basically, and you have probably noticed this as well. Marriages only last about 8 to 10 years. Like that's when a lot of them end. Right. And why is that? It's because that's basically the time that it would take you to raise 1 or 2 children to the point where they're kind of self-sufficient.
Well, yeah. No, it does. I do agree with you. But then the thing you're saying about pair bonding, and I think we can wrap on this too. You're talking about even in your own life, like, and I remember one of the guys that you trained with before in Toronto, this guy, Vadim, he was saying this too, that like, there's like a dark side of being in pickup where it's like you get laid so much. Isn't that same pair bonding thing like affecting you guys? Like, are you ever going to get out of the game? Like, what's your end goal dating wise? If you got these gangbangs coming in, you ever going to settle, or are you just? I feel like such an Indian dad.
Yeah.
But like,
So I've played around with this a bit in my previous relationships. Like, my second to last relationship was this girl, beautiful Colombian girl. We were completely monogamous for 6 months, and then I literally felt the desire to go meet other girls. But I will never cheat on a girl. Like, I'll never do anything behind her back. So I said, like, hey, I literally need more novelty. Like, either I'm gonna have to start banging you girls, or we're gonna have threesomes. Wow. And basically, the agreement we came to is we have threesomes together in her city, but when I travel for work, I can bang other girls as long as I use a condom. You know, I don't have any unwanted STDs or pregnancies. Yeah. And then we have threesomes together. Then she was happy with that, and she liked the threesomes too. Like, every threesome we had, we were high fiving each other. And then the threesomes get kind of boring after a while, and then you just want to go back into monogamy, and then it's just kind of like this ebb
I remember,
and
like,
flow.
I feel like threesome is like, I've only had one really, but it did feel a little bit like, this is before I got into meditation, but now I would know that, like, truly I'm only with one at a time, even though both are here. But like, you almost forget, like, the focus goes in and you do something, you're like, oh yeah, and then you go back and you're like, oh yeah, but then they are doing stuff too, so it's
Yo, and the stats on this are interesting. 81% of women say that they would want to have a threesome at least once in their life.
Amazing.
And only 10% of women have threesomes in their life. So there's like a 71% discrepancy there. So we got to help these girls out to fulfill their fantasies.
God is great, brother.
Guys don't ask girls what they're really into.
Yeah, I know. It's so weird. They almost like force girls to be that weird thing. Like, it's almost like as a guy, you project these things. So like a lot of girls that I've dated, they're down with this shit. They'll do it. But then the last guy they dated was actually subconsciously forcing them to be like, why aren't you pious? Why aren't you proper? You know? Don't you find that with Kevin Samuels, though? Don't you find that he has that kind of a pious, like, everyone get married and stop this shenanigans, and you have to get married and you have to have kids? Do you think that's good overall? And like, this is, you're talking about, hey, if you can get in top 1%, you can be like you? Or is it like, do you think it, like, do you think about it on that level?
Yeah. So I think that the closer that you get to matching your ancestral needs as ancestral. So basically, like, a part of human, like, just the default human condition. So a great book I'd recommend to everyone is to read Sex at Dawn. And they talk about this, but I'll break this down in a couple ways. Monogamy is great for building society, right? Because you have kids and you raise them in a monogamous marriage, and no one's competing for other people's wives and this type of thing.
Yeah.
Now, is that the most natural state of human beings? I don't think so. And I think the stats of people cheating, leaving their marriages speaks for itself. But I think as close as you can get to, like, ancestral societies, what do? You have a partner, right? But they're actually more sexually accepting than the agriculture era. So this is kind of tough for people to conceptualize, because most people think in two variables, like, oh, there was the old way and now there's the new way. But what we're coming into right now is basically a return to a lot of the ancestral ways. So people know about sauna, cold plunge. People know about eating paleo or animal-based. So people are getting smarter and wising up to this. Then there was the agricultural age, which is 10,000 to, like, pretty recently. And that's where people were eating mostly grains. Their height was 6 inches shorter. They had osteoporosis. They're just staying in one place. They're hoarding resources more. And then there's the ancestral, like, Paleolithic era, where people don't care that much about materialistic things. Why is that? Because they were nomadic and they couldn't carry a lot of stuff with them. So that's why human beings, like, when people, flaunt their wealth too much, it kind of makes you feel icky. Yeah. The reason why it makes you feel icky is because human beings were supposed to be very egalitarian. And even modern tribes, what they do is they never take full responsibility for when they kill an animal. The arrow that they shoot is their neighbor's arrow. The bow was made by someone else. Yeah. They just took the shot. So it's it's always a group effort, and meat is always shared in a tribe.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So you can kind of think like the same thing with human beings. And then for dating, if you read Sex at Dawn, like group sex is actually quite common. And the reason why it's a very common fantasy is because it is a common thing. Like it was just a way to connect with people. A lot of ancient tribes, what they would actually do, as gross as it sounds, is they would have multiple men like come in a girl. Because they thought that they could get multiple the powers, qualities of those men combined, right?
I think it's beautiful. That's nice. And it's
Amish is the funny guy.
Yeah. They're like,
Amish is the funny guy. I'm going to bang him. Austin's maybe pretty successful. I'm going to bang him. This guy's tall and good looking. I'm going to bang him. And it does come back to this idea that like if women don't get what they want from one man, they can get it from multiple. Dude, so there's an element of that.
That's what a sperm battle in there, because the sperms are ripping in there, dude. They're fighting. Yeah. I heard that like there's 400,000 sperms in a shot. The front line is attacking forward guys because they're like, there's some good. I think it would be just such an incredible TV show or like a science fiction show, and everyone could have those like masks, like those helmets that look like a sperm, whatever. But I've read that the first line is like killing the future, the guy, whoever had sex with them before. They're there to kill those sperms. Then there's the impregnation team, and then there's a team that stays behind, and they're like, if anyone comes in, pop. You know what I'm saying? Like they take out other people that are coming in. So if that tribal battle would be so sick, dude. It would be like 5 different guys. It would be like 5 or 6 guys, I think, having sex with a woman.
Yeah. So this guy's question, the short answer for me would be like, if I found a girl that was awesome and she was like, she meets 90% of my criteria, she's amazing, and her one thing was just that she wanted complete monogamy, I'd probably be completely monogamous with her and I would just deal with it, as long as I do that when I'm like 35 to 40 when my hormones change. Yeah. But if I found a girl that was like open to do things with girls, I would prefer that, because then she and I both have sexual novelty. Whether it's once a quarter or once a year, I don't know. Yeah.
No, that's fun,
let me address this one hater. He says, meat are women. He literally said it. No, I said tribes share meat. Like they go out and they hunt and they take. There's no responsibility of like the one person who gets it. It's not a society where it's like individualistic. Like in the West, we're very individualistic and we're often the most depressed, right? Yeah. If you think of like, one of the most depressed countries in the world is Switzerland, has, I think, the second highest rate of suicide.
Dude, my friend went to Switzerland and he said they just had sex with him right away. And then he was like, just talking to them after, and the girl goes, yes, because people here aren't real men, but you came and said hello, so I just had sex with you. Like she just told him, like same night, she was like, nice. It was so exciting that a real man came to me, so I just had, and these are brown guys, just like 3 brown guys that I know went, and they just got laid right away. Nice. Just like same night, and then they stayed for a week, and probably all of them like hooked up with 2 girls, and they all said the same thing. They were like, yes, because the feminism has gone so far in Sweden, or maybe it was Norway or something, and they're like, feminism has gone so far that the men are garbage, and they're just like they suck. They don't. Yeah, they're very weak. Yeah, it's too bad. It's kind of sad because like a lot of those Nordic nations, they used to be like Vikings and warriors, and now they're just kind of pussies. Dude, it is a cycle of life in a way, you know. I was gonna say this. This is something that I found out recently. It's very interesting. The richer a society, I love this fucking cane, dude. You're like, I know, right? Thank you. But the richer a society is, the less they need each person. The more individualistic you can become because you don't need to rely on a tribe, and that makes you more depressed. And a lot of people, when the richer they get, they buy isolation, so they shelter themselves away from society. They insulate themselves, and they don't have interactions with social groups. And the number one thing that impacts your happiness is being part of a community, being part of something larger than yourself, being part of a tribe. And then the poorer people in that same society are going to be happier because they need to rely on each other to survive. 100%. And that is just deeply tied to our nature as humans. Is like you need a group that you rely on for survival. And I will say the most like, it was one of the weirdest experiences I ever had. I went on a survival course for a week, and we ride horses out into the mountains. You're like 6 hours from the nearest small bumfuck trailhead. Yeah. And that's far away from a town. And you're just in this, you're like hunting and fishing in this, and setting snares in this like small tight knit group, making fires, talking every night. And you just feel like held by this community. And it's a weird experience that many people I feel like will never have in their lives. And it's kind of sad that we've gone away from it. And
Best book in the world, by the way. My number one book recommendation is Civilized to Death. It's the most interesting book. You'll ever
Wow,
read.
I gotta check it out. Civilized to Death. Yo, that's sick, dude. I actually just got through Way of the Superior Man, and it was incredible. And it's all good stuff that like have you heard of that one, Way of the Superior Man? It's
Yeah,
actually,
I've read that. It's great. Yeah.
It's so good, and it's actually published by this meditation company. It's published by Sounds True Audio, and it's so beautiful, like the stuff that he talks about, and how we do need each other. It is like one of the most important like loving kindness teachings too, where it's almost like you have to practice having compassion for people, like picturing them suffering and having compassion for it and loving them, and then you need them to kind of love you too. It's like we're all in this together, and people are getting more and more isolated, I feel like. And depressed. Yeah,
especially with like the COVID and like all these tech companies were salivating and like jerking off to the fact that like, oh, they can use my tech service all day long. Yes.
Yeah. Twitter,
and like meanwhile, everyone's just getting more and more depressed. It's like,
I know, dude. It's
stupid.
But thanks for coming, dude. This is great. This is great that you're able to come on and talk to us about this, because we're going into a sexy summer. I feel like this is going to be the summer of banging, summer of love. It's going to be maybe the horniest summer in the modern history after COVID. It's almost like a war.
Yeah. You wanted me to comment on like what you think the end of COVID will be like, or what
I was saying like COVID dating, like what what is it?
So for what I experienced during the pandemic, there was like this initial phase where online dating was the only way to meet people, but people were too like afraid to even meet up. And then it became like people would meet up from online, and online was the only way to meet girls.
Dude, it used to be like a pervert. Like if you said you're meeting someone online, they're like, "Are you a pervert? Like you're gonna get murdered, idiot."
Yeah,
like, there's no way that's real.
Someone's
and then it's like 2 years later, it just became like, I'm on Tinder.
Yeah, and then I think what happened is people got online dating fatigue, because it's so annoying. Online dating is by far the most annoying form of dating, right? Like you're just messaging people and back and forth, and you have to like talk to like 30 people to meet one, and it's like it's super inefficient, because if you don't have that in-person chemistry, you don't know how you're going to interact with them.
100%.
And that's why in-person meeting is so powerful, is because you can tell exactly how the person looks. You have the trust because you know they're a real person. Like half the time you're talking to someone online, you're like, this could just be a fake profile.
Yeah.
So you know
when they're
real.
super hot, I'm like, come on.
Come on, you don't exist, dude. I actually have
and then I go through, and then it's like, just buy 200 roses, and then you can talk to me for 5 minutes. It's like a whole economy that they've made of like buying roses, and then like 50 roses is like 1 minute of chat time, but one rose costs like $20, like I don't know, like 30 cents. So you don't feel weird buying. You're like, oh, I can afford 100 roses. 100 roses, $5. Yeah, I'll buy 100 roses, whatever. And then it's like, okay, you're out of roses, and then they're trying to charge you more money. Yeah, it's actually really sad, because whoever's making those ads, the girl's not involved. They're just picking some hot girl, taking her photos, and then putting them on my Tinder. And like I match up with them. They're like really hot girls, but like they're obviously not real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and there's people that like they manage girls' OnlyFans, so they like promote their Tinders so that they get like leads, so they go onto their Instagram and they go onto their OnlyFans. Yeah. Ocho Cinco is in agreement. Yeah, it's just like, and then they're monetized, especially in the West. They're not going to give you the matches that you desire, because they want you to pay to match people and pay to get better algorithm and pay for plaid and premium and whatever. Dude,
one time they were showing me during pandemic, I was deep, it's so hard to meet people. They're showing me, you got 11 matches like behind the paywall. They're like, just pay for it and we'll show you 11 matches. Dude, I paid one match. They scammed me, dude. I paid, and then it's kind of like, really? Like, what am I going to do? I'm going to file a complaint. They'll be like, you didn't have 11 matches, dude.
And I've had about 550 students now. And I will say that the most common complaint about online dating isn't that they can't meet people. It's that they don't meet girls that are like of the standard they want, right? The girls are just not as hot.
With online dating?
In day game, who goes outside? Who goes to shop, grocery stores? Who goes to Whole Foods? Who goes to, the mall? Everyone. Literally every hot girl leaves her house. They don't stay inside for 7 months. Like they weren't doing the pandemic before the pandemic.
Yeah, no. And this is why I support this, man. You got it. It almost seems sometimes like white people aren't allowed. Like it's almost like brown and black people. Like it's standard. Even like my cousins, girls that are my cousins, if I'm out with them, they'll be like, yo, that girl's checking you out. Go talk to her. Like, it's like cool. And then I do find maybe it's mostly comedians and writers that are like, Amish, you'll get canceled. what if someone videotapes it? Like people are just worried that you'll go talk to someone and it's like, we could get in trouble for that. You're not allowed. No, I think it's a great work you're doing, dude.
And
loving the culture.
It is. So there's the question there is like, where did that come from? Is it okay? So part of the anxiety of approaching people, because the only part of game that is not natural is approaching, because your brain evolved in tribes, like I talked about. So everyone that you would talk to, you would have known your entire life. So the idea of approaching a stranger, you're like, could this be a threat? Is this going to be a friendly person? Is this a potential mate? It's scary. And then you add on to the fact that like when you do meet someone that's like you want to, fuck. Your genes are thinking like, fuck, I could reproduce with this person, and then my genes will survive 10 billion generations.
Yeah.
It's like there's that, but then there's also the societal narrative of like, especially in Toronto, like it's a SJW cesspool, right? It's just like all these cringe ideas about society that are fake and gay.
What's wrong with being gay? Nothing wrong. Don't say gay. Don't throw the gay people under the bus. It's
don't
nothing
say
wrong.
gay, Bill.
But it is like I do find that there is like this weird like this moral outrage, moral panic maybe about it, where there's like people are just like, oh, how could you do that, or how could you whatever, and it's just like, hey man, you're gonna be fucking lonely if guys don't learn to holler. Girls have thanked me for your moves. Your moves that you get, girls have that, and I have to tell them, and then they still are like, then they're like, oh, that's great, good for him, God is great, he's doing God's work. But other than that, it is very weird. But no, that's why I wanted to bring you on and talk to you, man. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, and you will get thanked for it, because especially as it becomes more and more rare, you stand out more and more when you do in person, like approaching. Yeah, and yeah, you never have to do anything that shows that you're courageous after you approach a girl. Like if you approach her, she's just like, she immediately thinks that you're a badass.
Dude, it's magical.
Also, it depends. You need to look the part, right? You need to look somewhat decent. You need to have decent style. I call my style not retarded style. It's like when someone looks at me, they go like, okay, this guy like knows how to dress. I'm not doing anything too fancy. Like I'm not trying to color coordinate too much or whatever. I look like I'm not retarded. So
yeah. You honestly, the standards are low as guys. And you're right, it's magical, dude. You go up and say what's up, and that's again, like, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels, love him. But it does seem like he puts everything into these terms of like, what's your value? How much money did you make? You need this and this and this. And it does seem like if you roll up to a girl on the street, all out the window. It's just like, wow, you fucking came up to me. But it usually doesn't work out like that. Most girls are like, I have a boyfriend. Thanks. I have a boyfriend. Some girls are like, don't talk to me. What are you doing? But then a lot of girls end up being just like, thank you. I appreciate you for coming up and saying what's up. Not looking at money, just looking at you in this moment as a man with your masculine energy. I have my feminine energy, and it's just mingling in this, like this is what we were meant to do in a weird way. And you get this appreciation from them,
Yeah. And what people don't realize is just by being a man, just by going up, just by creating that connection, you're very valuable in that moment. And women love it. Like you said, I was going to say something else, but completely dropped out of my head.
It's okay, baby. It's Friday.
The most important thing is that connection, right? If you have a great connection with a girl, then everything else is a bonus, right? The money's a bonus. The aesthetics are a bonus. The body fat percentage. All these other
hair,
things.
Dude, I have hair everywhere.
The people who get results, they take action despite their current starting point.
Fucking yeah.
And they just meet girls, and then they improve themselves over time. And basically what you want to construct is a life where everything that a girl explores about you, you're a winner, right? When a girl meets me, I make her fucking pee her pants laughing. She's having a great time. I meet her friends like me. I'm able to like be social with everyone. I make her feel comfortable. I also put on the moves so she feels like this guy can be sexual. He's comfortable with the sexuality. Any kind of kink she likes, I explore that with her. We have great sex. When I drive her in my fucking Tesla. I put a pedal to the metal. She has like a fun experience with that. Bring her to a nice place. She sees, when she comes here, she sees a giant bookshelf. She knows I'm knowledgeable. She sees my office. She knows that I'm like, ambitious. I even oftentimes on dates, I like to take photos of girls and I send it to them afterward. They put it on their Instagram, most liked photo ever. Their friends are hitting them up more. Like everything that I do helps them win. And every step of the way for me, they're like, this guy's a fucking winner, right?
Wow, dude, that's beautiful.
So yeah, all you need to do really at that point is expose girls to the fact that you are a winner, right? So a lot of that is kind of like a narcissistic belief. It's like, oh, all I have to do is like expose girls to how awesome I am. Well, I've done a decade of work to develop the value that I have. So now I can just display it, right? I'm displaying it on Instagram. So she sees on Instagram, oh shit, epic photos. This guy travels. He helps people. He is a leader. He hosts seminars. Like every step of the way, she's like, it's always yes, right? She's like, yes, 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 yes. And what you were describing, I don't know if you said this on the intro or whatever, but like you're saying like radical consent. I'd say about 30 to 50% of the time, when I bring a girl into my bedroom, she just sits on my bed and we basically start having sex. Like she's ready for it there. I don't have to like schmooze or put on any moves. It's like she's the one kind of initiating at that point.
Yeah, for sure. And that I have found that if I meet someone on the street, it's so quick. Like, I mean, with Tinder, it is a lot of jumping through hoops. It's like third date, maybe, I don't know, whatever. But you meet on the street and they're just like, you know what? You're a good, strong boy. You were a good boy and you hollered at me in the street and you said, you made me feel good. Yeah. Like, I'm just going to fuck you. Like, why not? You know, you get the radical consent is where it's at.
This guy says that my advice is just do self-amusement. No, self-amusement is like one component of game. So I'll actually bring up the, let's see.
Do you want me to bring up your video?
Principles. Game principles. Okay. Yeah. So the principles of game, self-amusement, assuming familiarity. So you're assuming that you come up to the girl. You're not like this weird, like getting to know you interview mode. So what do you do? What do you do? Where are you from? What do you do? So you assume familiarity. So when you go up, it's almost like you're approaching like an old girlfriend or something. You're grounded, which means that you are kind of like centered, right? You can even do this if you want to practice this, you can look in someone's eyes, and whoever breaks eye contact first, smirks, looks away, that is the person that is less grounded.
Like that's the bottom.
Authenticity and congruence. So being yourself to a certain point works. I have a whole video on that planned, so I can go into that deeper if you want. Comfort and empathy. So you're making sure that you comfort girls as well. You give them space. You recognize when they're uncomfortable and you give them space. You empathize with them. You make sure that their needs are taken care of. Like if a girl's cold at my house, I'm going to turn the AC up, like so it's warmer, right? Leadership. So I'm leading the conversation. I'm leading the interaction through space. Like I'm holding her hand while I lead her. Sick. Assertiveness. So I'm going for what I want, but I'm making sure that everyone has a good time. You don't want to be passive. You don't want to be overly dominant. Dominance makes people scared, and passivity makes people think you're a pussy. So you want to have that sweet spot where you're tactful. Abundance. So the more women that you have in your life, whether you're messaging them, whether they're even part of your social circle, but the women that you communicate with, the more abundance you have of them, the more it allows you to meet girls more easily. Sexual intent. So you're showing sexual intent, that you are comfortable with your sexuality, you can make it man to woman, that you can touch the girl, that you can, bring up sexual topics or topics about relationships or dating in a non-try hard way. Sick. Freedom. So you're free and you're loose and you can express yourself. Persistence. So you try to get what you want persistently. Like that's one of the most, the qualities that women like the most.
All right. They do thank you for it after. The movie says, "What a gentleman." It's true, man.
Giving value. So giving value means like, if from an emotional perspective, like what Amish and I are doing right now is giving value to you guys, right? We're producing content, and often that can be the lens switch. It'd be from consumer to producer.
It's Friday. We're going into a sexy summer. We're going into a hot summer, and we're going to a hot weekend. And a Friday, like it's almost like you got to start getting in the game a little bit. It's almost like right now you hear this. After, check out the clip. Like, I recommend this one, Self-Amusement Pickup Guide. This is actually, like, I saw this, and I'm like, man, this is how people need to live life. Like, you're talking here about, like, and there's so much of this stuff that I've seen of yours where I'm like, I'm watching it, and I'm like, I don't even apply it to I don't even think about it as dating advice. I actually think of it as almost like podcasting advice or, like, nice, just advice of, like, life. It's like,
I agree.
Talk about what is... because everyone's trying to game YouTube right now. And I remember I was we actually worked with this guy. We saved a guy from a cult on this show, Anand, and he had a couple of pickup artists who came in to do for like marketing advice. And you guys all have this similar videos on this where you're like, there's no pickup line. You have to genuinely say what's in your heart. Have a genuine conversation. Be real with someone. There's no lines. But these pickup guys, they come into the sales meeting and they're just like, hey, what's the SEO title I can use? Like they didn't have any. They were like, they're like, even they fell for the trap though. They're like, what's the line, dude? Like we're telling them like, yo, this would be a banger video. This would be hilarious. Like your fans would
and
like
the SEO doesn't matter anymore because YouTube takes everything written down and like every video has a transcript, like its own captions. So it just sequences those words and puts it up. The title does matter somewhat in obviously the thumbnail, but it's the content at the end of the day. Did you hook them in the beginning? Is the content engaging? Like all I've tried to do on YouTube is make the best video that I can make. And that's what wins in the end because it gets like top in when people search for things, it gets top and it's most recommended.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like what you were saying, it's not, you're right. It's not just for dating. It's a way to live life. Like giving people value wherever you go. Like you could go into a store and pay for something and then you go, hi, that's it. Okay. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Or you could say, hey, how's your day going, man? Or you crack a joke about what you're buying. Like it's Subway sandwiches. If you go in there and the person looks tired, you go, hey man, why don't you go take a nap in the back? I'll take over your shift. No worries.
Yeah. Yeah. Being genuine with people. It's so hard to do. And it's so hard to like teach someone. It really is probably the first thing I've seen that was like, like it's so abstract, it's like I've seen loving kindness coaches teach it, and you guys really, but you are probably the first one. But yeah, man, it was great, dude. It was
sorry,
great.
I'm hopped up on this alpha brain, dude. My brain's going now.
Oh, sick, dude.
I want to address two of these. This guy, he literally just like I feels like he's an NPC from like some other video who just like types in whatever comment.
I ignore like half of them, but like go ahead, man. Don't feel like
I want to address it because he brings up some. So it's the one he says he treats relationship like capitalistic transaction of services.
Right. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Let's
so that would be like a comment that would be on a fresh and fit thing, right? What do we talk about here? Connecting with people, giving value, like enjoying the time that you have with her, standing out, like.
Yeah.
Basically, the capitalistic way to look at it, or like just the pure exchange of value, would be like, I pay the bills, you fuck me whenever I ask. That would be, but I've obviously said that I find that you build a connection with the girl outside of that. The connection is the most important thing. If you don't have a connection, you have nothing, right? You're gonna have some fucking Eastern European chick that just stays with you for your money, but is like, she's. I literally I've met tons of girls like this. Actually, my ex, when she dated this doctor dude who provided for her and paid for her bills, she said that she walked, like when she walked down the street with him, she walked like 5 feet away. Like she just trailed next to him behind him. Like,
out of respect.
Not even out of respect. Like out of
fear.
like,
she's like afraid of him.
No, she just didn't enjoy. They didn't have a good connection.
Oh, that's
right?
so sad.
So she basically just fucked him just because he was paying the bills and like she lived with him. But to get her fix for like connection and sex, she went to a girl. Like she was dating a girl at the same time on the side, but she didn't tell him about that. So
it doesn't count if it's a girl. I think a lot of guys think that, and it's actually stupid because you know what girls do when they get together? And the lesbian told me this. She's like, dude, we put the fucking whole thing in. So they're like, I know some girls that got older. Nobody, like they were straight. Nobody like nobody stuck around. Then they get older. They're like, I'm lesbian. They convert. I was talking to my friend and I'm like, yo, they can just convert. Like when they're 30, they can just convert. And my friend's like, yeah, they can fucking convert because guess what? What do you got? Like 6 inches? I got this fucking whole thing, bitch. I fucking put this in. I'm getting it done. I don't give a fuck. And once they come to us, they're not coming back to you. Yeah, they're like, she's
bro. This guy's brain is broken. He's like, this guy will have rude awakening that he never had a human connection without expecting something in return or without playing mind chess games.
I think he's talking.
Did he listen to the past hour of the conversation?
No, I think Yehuvi's on your team. He's basically talking about the guy you're talking about, right? Yehuvi, tell us again, Yehuvi, if we're talking about. No, Yehuvi, we always get him wrong. He's always like, great job, Yehuvi. Thanks for dropping the comments. But oh no, he is saying, what's your point? Listen, sometimes Yehuvi does get salty. He's a regular here. He gets salty sometimes. Yehuvi, are you disagreeing with Austen? Bro. Have respect. People come to this channel. foolish.
No, I'm fine. I just like to address these points. I'm not like
Yeah, yeah,
triggered. I just like
No, it's
to.
fine. It's fine.
So he said, without
I think
having
he's
had a true human connection. So do you know me? You've seen every relationship I've had. You've seen all the times that I've been with girls. You've seen all that.
No, he doesn't.
So the past 10 years of my life, you've seen every relationship I had and every girl I've been with, and you somehow were in the moment, and you know that.
Yeah, no,
This
Yehuvi, we're saying
this guy's like
Yehuvi had
narcissism
said-
10 out of 10.
No, you know,
Claiming to know something about someone's relationship that they haven't even experienced. When the whole fucking time, dude, we're talking about building connections with girls.
Yeah, no, I honestly thought he was
whatever,
talking
dude.
about
I understand most YouTube commenters are pretty retarded. So,
Yehuvi's more conservative. Yehuvi doesn't like any player talk. He's interesting. Like,
good.
Even if
Well,
someone
then
talks
he
about being
can
too much of a
see.
player,
Not
it's like,
everyone
well,
needs to fuck a hot girl. Not everyone needs to get a hot girlfriend.
Yeah,
He could. Most people are happy with 5s and 6s, and that's fine.
God is great, brother. There are people too, and yeah, Ocho Cinco's here.
You don't have to have every experience in life. Like, I don't care to become a billionaire by any stretch of the imagination. I don't care so much about, let's say, what's something else I don't care about. I don't want to be like a professional climber.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
My climbing skill will forever be 3 out of 10.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, we're not here to have material to collect material things, and then like even dating can become that. And I think I honestly think like you're very genuine. Even your stuff about like having, like I said, this is like probably the first video that got me into your stuff, the self-amusement one. It's beautiful, and it was before I learned loving kindness. But this is what loving kindness teaches. They practice you to look into your heart and see what's real and what's genuine, so that you're making genuine connections with other people. Because that's what our mission in life is to do: is to go out and be like with each other and create like things together, do like little adventures, do little like fun, have experiences, more over materialism. So I don't think you're objectifying women. I think, dude, God is great, baby.
Well,
I
dude,
think it's great that you came in.
I think your audience merges with the mainstream, so that's where the problem comes up. Like,
you're always going to
any other audience where people are into self-development, they're like, oh, I get it,
Yeah,
but I think
totally.
because you're kind of like a general comedy as well, right?
I mean, listen, man, we take all kinds. Like I'm not the kind of guy who wants to like cancel anyone, even if like they're canceled. Like I don't want to. I've said this so many times here. We are here to play with. We are all children of the Most High God. Nobody gets canceled. Someone has an opinion, come talk about it. It's fine. Like, I mean, Yehuvi's always talking shit like this. And if I was your sister, I would be creeped out around you. Yehuvi says.
Yeah, and you're a profile with a cartoon as the head. So
yeah, he's talking shit,
dude. You know what's funny? It's always the people that have like anime characters as the thing or the blank profile. My buddy David talks about this. It's like, especially on Instagram, it's always like the blank profiles, and like they follow 4,000 accounts. They're followed by like 3 people, and it's just a blank profile.
I remember like a week ago, some guys like just leaving comments. He's like, "Fucking Amish sucks. Why are we here? Let's all leave, everyone. Amish sucks. Let's go." I'm like, hey, just leave then, okay? It's a whole world. Do whatever the fuck you want. Anyway,
whatever. That's what you get when you're in the public eye, right?
Exactly.
There's always there's a certain percentage of people that are just pure psychopaths. There's a certain percentage of people that are just Looney Tunes, and
some people just want to talk shit.
And actually, I do think that it is so. Like that guy, he has not listened for the past, even though he's here, he hasn't listened to the past 80 minutes of the conversation. And like that just didn't enter his head, which shows that human beings, we have such different perspectives. And that's actually one of the things that helps us survive, is that people have completely different perspectives about the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like certain inventions were made because people just went like the complete opposite way that people are talking about.
Yeah. You need wackadoos, dude. Yesterday we had a conspiracy guy. Yeah. He believes all kinds of nonsense. You need them to go crazy and fight with the government, even though they're not making sense.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of how I support the truckers protest, even in Canada. I'm like, people are sending me did you see he said this and they're supported by this? I don't even care. It's just like someone just need to tell the government like, yo, fuck you with these mandates.
Yeah.
Open it up. You got to send the crazy.
I feel like most perspectives are valuable. Yeah. And that's what people don't get when they just think like 45% of people are NPCs on the left, 45% are NPCs on the right, and then you got like 10% of people that can kind of think for themselves. But those NPCs are actually useful because it's the battling of of ideas that creates the final idea that's best in society, right?
Yeah.
And like everything is a pretty decent approximation. Like even things, I hate tow truck companies so much. Some of the angriest times of my life have been, I get towed, but there is a limited amount of parking space, and they do fulfill a desire, a need for that, right?
Yeah.
Now, would I prefer if they just gave me a parking ticket for like $30 or $40 and then I paid it and then I learned my lesson? Sure, but everything
everyone
kind of
has their
fulfills
job in this life, you know. Dude, I remember when I was in India,
trade-offs.
we went to see this movie that our teacher by mistake took us to a movie where like they made out, and this is a big reason why I feel like there's a lot of brown people in these classes. They made out in the movie when I was in school in India. I was in grade 9. They made out in the movie. The audience, it was the first time they made out in a Bollywood movie. It was like one of the first ones ever.
Wow.
I'm old, dude. So they start making out. The audience is like, "Oh my God. Oh my God." And people are like chanting prayers. They're like, "Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna." Like they're like leaving and chanting prayers. 2 guys in our class, they fucking cover their eyes. I'm pissed, dude. Like we had to go back to class. We had to grab our ears, squat, and walk back. It's like a desert in fucking India. We had to go back we go back home, except for these two like kiss assers, right? They covered their eyes. Later, I'm telling them like, "Bro, what the fuck is the cover your eyes shit? You saw makeout, baby, see it." And you know what the guy said? He goes, "But Amish, we don't want to be over sexualized like your community, so we don't want it." Yeah, like he had his own like comeback.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a balance, right? Like, and that is
fuck, dude.
What you said is true. I think there are more Indian guys in like that look for dating advice, because I think one of the biggest reasons is sexual shame. That is one of the biggest reasons, because it's almost like you have 2 pedals, gas and brake. Mm-hmm. Gas could be like, I want a beautiful, awesome girlfriend. I want, these crazy things. But then you have the sexual shame thing that's, is the brake, and it's pushed down. And it's like, you've internalized through either your upbringing with your parents, through your, a transmission of group norms, like, for example, like the story you told, or like your friends. And what that's told you is that sex is bad. You shouldn't have sex with girls. All that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's true, man. I mean, it is a hindrance on us. And the Buddha calls it a hindrance. These self-doubts, we're not supposed to be doubting ourselves. And again, I got to go, but you got to come back and do the show again. Sorry, I don't think I got to the clips that I said we were going to get to, but it's just because our conversation was very engaging, dude. You can talk. It's been great. Yeah. Thanks for chatting. It's been very helpful. Like, honestly, for me, it's almost like, you were talking about the cycles of dating and getting single again and dating. It's like I'm going into a summer where, like I need that energy. You know what I'm saying? So it's been great for me. So thanks very much for coming. And a lot of people loved it, dude. I mean, a lot of people are saying have him back. Yehuvi's still talking shit, but you know what? It's gonna happen. Don't worry about that. Calvin McCorney says sex is tight. Limitless Co. I think being honest helps in getting girls. Costanza said, yeah, dude. I mean, like I said, great stuff. Check out the self-amusement video on his channel. I'll put a link to it in the comments. I'm coming back at 5:00 with Duke and Don. We're probably going to talk about Kevin Samuels, and just more on the dating culture and stuff like that. Kevin Samuels, may rest in peace. Thanks everyone for coming, and thank you so much for coming, dude. This is great, and I love that.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. It's been good hanging out with you in the cosmos.
Habibi, peace.
All right.
Wow. Yeah, we gotta have him back, man. Even Neil was saying like, bring him back. Yehuvi's talking shit. Listen, this is a loving kindness ashram. You know what I'm saying? Listen, Kevin. Let's say Kevin Samuels, rest in peace. Let's put him up again. Kevin Samuels, rest in peace. God bless him. A lot of great material. But I did think like he got a little negative toward like in the last couple of years, fighting with his audience too, fighting with the comments. It's like, look, man, have whatever opinion you want, and we can talk about it. And I know sometimes it might seem like, oh, you didn't yell at everyone, or like it's like shut him up or something, but we're not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Yehuvi's got his, conservative beliefs, and he's just going to, he does what he does, dude. You do what you do. Fern says conflict makes good for good rips. That is true too. That is true. You know what I'm saying? We want to get alternate views. You got to be careful, because even like you'll get, and like Austin's cool, and like he was like very chill about it, but there are people who will be mad about like some cancel culture shit, and then their reaction to it is basically like canceling. You know what I mean? Like their reaction is like, just block that guy. Who's this Yehudi? Block him. He's stupid. Like, it's like, no, it's fine. Austen Summers says, cancel him now. Not at the Church of Loving Kindness, brother. Not at this Church of Loving Kindness. And like I said, we're coming back at 5 o'clock with Duke and Don. It's going to be a joint congregation. So I'm going to go do Duke and Don, and then Duke and Don are going to come back over here. But thanks, everyone, for coming. We got a lot of donos today. That's very sweet of you. Listen, we're building this Church of Loving Kindness, this digital ashram. We're building this digital ashram. And it is a church of unconditional loving kindness. And there it is. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be back in the bus next week. Right now, things are a little under construction. That's why I'm here in the cosmos, here in space, because you know what? This is God's territory. So I can just come here and fucking rip whenever I want. Don't have to worry about studio fees. None of that shit. Thanks, Source. That's what you get with unconditional loving kindness. I'm going to read a couple more comments and we're going to call it. But again, thanks everyone for coming out. Appreciate you. And like I said, 5 o'clock with Duke and Don. It's better to talk it out. Mo Ackerman says, 100%, dude. Natasha Razor is here. Thanks for coming, Habibi. Appreciate it. James says, thank you. Yes, James. Austen Summers, thank you for your insight. I like challenging views so that we can get more info. 100%, dude. Honestly, work on your fucking game. I've told you guys about we have a family friend. You know, he gained 10 pounds, 15 pounds, hasn't left the house in a year. And now he's sending me red pill theories. He's sending me videos, this red pill theory videos. He's saying that feminism destroyed Rome, stuff like this. I'm like, will you just go out? I sent him the video. I sent him the Austen. So I was like, watch it. And then we're going to go. I do this with people. They're not going out. They're getting, and I can see it. It's like, you're just getting self-conscious. You're being weird. They start saying bitter things like, well, there's no, these women, they're, it's no point anymore. They're just all, they want to fuck the hot guy. And guys like me are getting left behind. It's like, just watch a video. Let's go out. So make sure, everyone, as you go out into this weekend and as you go into this Summer of Love summer that we're going to have post-COVID, I think it's going to be a very sexy and beautiful summer. And I think it's going to be a great summer for the Church of Loving Kindness. Like I said, 5 o'clock, Duke and Don. Tomorrow, 2 cult rehabs. So tune in for those. And I think Austen Summers might be our last joint congregation like that. Like, I think we're going to be focused on cult rehabs now, because they are getting a lot of hits and they are very helpful for the culture, for the community. But definitely we got to have Austen Summers on. That was great. It was great just talking to him. But thanks everyone for coming. And I'm just going to read a couple of names and turn it off. But make sure you get funky with the music, because like I said, we are going into a very sexy weekend. This is Caballero of Shane from the YouTube Public Library. God bless YouTube and their public library. Make sure you hit the like button. Let the community, let the algorithm know that we are here and we love the digital ashram. Let them know. Yehuvi's here. Calvin Picorni is here. Ignacio Torres, God is great. Ocho Cinco, God is great, brother. James, Mo Ackerman, Mr. Q. I did not fall for it, foolish. Fern is here. Neil is here. Wow, 4 times the normal views. Mo Ackerman, Natasha Razor, thanks. Nat 2306, God is great. And a bunch of donos today. Thanks, everyone. You are loved, like I said. Don't even know what this name is, but God is great. Dude, that's what is that, a €5? €5? God is great, brother. Digital Solutions Media, $10. God damn it, dude. Woo! We are prosperous in this ashram. I said we are prosperous in this ashram. I just love my community so much. That's why it's so hard to leave. Just Got a Life. James, Just Got a Life was also here. Thank you. Yahubi, like I said. Ocho Cinco. We had another one. Duke and Don was in here. But then we had another Habibi. Duke and Don, of course, like I said, 5 o'clock, we're going to be on the show together. I have lots to say on the Kevin Samuel situation. Digital Marketing Humans, thank you so much. Appreciate you. And Turbo Chat, of course, is here. Leah is here from the beginning. Ayush, God is great. And thanks, everyone. We'll see you at 5. Peace!